The person sitting across from you at age 35, doing everything right financially, is somehow broker than the person who takes risks. You've been told your whole life that the safest path is the smartest path. Save your money, avoid debt, don't gamble on investments, stay cautious. And you did exactly that. You skipped the fancy dinners, turned down the expensive trips, kept your money in savings accounts that felt secure, solid, untouchable. But when you checked your net worth last month, something didn't add up. You should be further ahead by now. The math doesn't lie, but the reality feels wrong. Here's what nobody explains. Your brain is running on outdated software. For 200,000 years, the humans who survived were the ones who feared loss more than they craved gain. That instinct, what I call the preservation bias, kept your ancestors alive when a bad decision meant starvation or death. But in the modern financial system, that same instinct is the silent assassin of wealth building. And the cruel part, it disguises itself as responsibility. While you've been protecting your money from risk, two invisible forces have been working against you every single day: opportunity cost and inflation. Every dollar sitting in a savings account earning 0.5% interest loses purchasing power when inflation runs at 2.5% annually. That's not safety. That's a guaranteed 2% loss in real value every year. Compounded over a decade, your cautious $20,000 nest egg has the buying power of $16,400. You didn't spend recklessly. You didn't make bad bets. You just sat still. And sitting still, in a financial system designed for growth, is moving backward. Here's the moment it clicked for me. I was reviewing my own finances at 32, proud that I had avoided credit card debt and built a respectable emergency fund. Then I ran a simple calculation. If I had put just half of that emergency fund into a basic index fund 5 years earlier, instead of letting it hibernate in a savings account, I would have had an additional $4,200. Not from luck, not from timing the market, just from letting money do what it's designed to do in a growth economy: multiply. That number haunted me. Because it wasn't about one decision, it was about a pattern, a fear-based pattern I didn't even know I was following. The preservation bias doesn't just affect savings. It infects every financial decision you make without you noticing. You stay in the same low-paying job because switching feels risky. You avoid negotiating salary increases because confrontation feels uncomfortable. You rent instead of exploring homeownership because mortgages sound terrifying. You keep money liquid just in case, even when that case never arrives. And here's the psychological trap. Every time you choose the safe option, your brain rewards you with a hit of relief. Danger avoided, threat neutralized. But that relief is a lie, because the real danger, financial stagnation, is building silently in the background. The caveman in your head doesn't understand compound interest. He doesn't grasp opportunity cost. He just knows, don't lose the food. That instinct worked when food was scarce and winters were deadly. But we're not storing berries anymore. We're navigating a system where not growing is losing. Here's the recontextualization you need. Prudence and fear look identical from the outside. Both keep you cautious. Both make you check your account balance obsessively. Both tell you to be smart. But they produce opposite outcomes. Prudence says, understand the risk, then act strategically. Fear says, avoid the risk entirely. And the financial system, intentionally or not, punishes risk avoidance. Look at the numbers. From 2010 to 2020, The S&P 500 returned an average of 13.6% annually. A modest $10,000 investment would have grown to $35,400. That same $10,000 in a high-yield savings account averaging 1.5% would have grown to $11,600. The risky investor gained $25,400. The safe saver gained $1,600. Which decision now looks smarter? But here's what messes with your head. In any single year during that decade, the safe saver never lost money. The investor had multiple years where their portfolio dropped 10%, 15%, even 20%. And every time that happened, the caveman brain screamed, "See, you should have stayed in the cave." But zoom out. The person who stayed in the cave is still there, counting the same dollars that buy less and less every year. The preservation bias gets reinforced by everything around you. Your parents probably told you to save for a rainy day. Financial advisors start conversations with "protect what you have." Banks advertise the security of FDIC insurance. Even your own memory works against you. You remember the one friend who lost money in the market, but you forget the 10 who quietly built wealth over time. Your environment whispers the same message: safety first, growth, maybe later when it's convenient, when it's guaranteed. But nothing is guaranteed. Sitting still isn't safe. It's just slow erosion disguised as stability. And the longer you wait to course correct, the steeper the cost becomes. Because here's the brutal math of opportunity cost. A 25-year-old who starts investing $200 a month will have roughly $550,000 by age 65 at a 7% return. A 35-year-old starting the same habit, about $245,000, same monthly investment, same return. The only difference, 10 years of the caveman brain saying, "Not yet." Maybe you're thinking, but what if I invest and lose everything? That's the preservation bias talking. Here's the truth. The chances of losing everything in a diversified portfolio held for 10+ years are statistically near zero. The chances of your purchasing power eroding in a low-yield savings account, 100% guaranteed. You're not avoiding risk, you're choosing a different risk. The question isn't, should I take risk? It's, which risk can I actually afford? So here's the shift, the mental recalibration that changes everything. Your brain isn't wrong for being cautious. It's just calibrated for the wrong environment. 10,000 years ago, the cost of a bad decision was death. Today, the cost of a bad financial decision is learning, maybe some temporary discomfort, a portfolio dip that recovers, that's it. The upside, though, the upside is freedom, options. The ability to retire before 70. The ability to help your kids without financial strain. The ability to say no to jobs that drain you. The people who build wealth after 30 aren't reckless gamblers. They're not geniuses with secret formulas. They're just people who learn to rewrite one sentence in their brain. Don't lose becomes don't stagnate. That's the entire game. Practical translation: keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in liquid savings. That's your real safety net. Everything else, put it to work. Boring index funds, retirement accounts, real estate if it fits your situation. Nothing exotic, nothing clever, just consistent long-term exposure to assets that historically outpace inflation. The caveman brain will scream the first time your portfolio drops 8% in a month. Let it scream. You're not managing emotions anymore. You're managing math. Here's what changes when you stop letting the preservation bias run your decisions. You stop equating safety with inaction. You start asking, what's the cost of not doing this? You realize that the scariest financial risk isn't losing money. It's reaching 50 and realizing you spent 2 decades protecting yourself into irrelevance. You understand that every no to calculated risk is a yes to guaranteed erosion. You see clearly. Your parents' financial advice was designed for their economy, not yours. Pensions don't exist. Social security is uncertain. Wages haven't kept pace with inflation. The old playbook doesn't work anymore, and pretending it does is the real gamble. So here's the final piece. The preservation bias doesn't just keep you broke, it keeps you small. Because once you realize money sitting still is money dying, you start applying that same logic everywhere. That side project you've been thinking about for 3 years. The caveman says it's risky. The math says the real risk is never trying. That career pivot you keep delaying. Staying put feels safe. But opportunity cost doesn't care about feelings. Every month you wait is a month of potential earnings you'll never recover. The same brain wiring that kept your ancestors alive in a world of scarcity is quietly strangling your potential in a world of abundance. Wealth isn't built by avoiding loss. It's built by consistently choosing strategic discomfort over the illusion of safety. And the earlier you make that shift, the more time compounds in your favor instead of against you. Your brain will always prefer the cave, but the cave is a prison now, not a refuge.